Well, hello, furniture people. I'm Joe, and I like refinishing old furniture. Somehow I decided it would be a good idea to film that and share it, so here we are turning grit into gold. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Doing that allows me to continue sharing interesting projects with you. So this is a small kitchen table that actually we own it. My wife found it and asked me to refinish the top without doing too much to the base. You can see it's pretty worn. um, Circles and rings. It looks like there's a burned ring in that top, but it's not really a burn. It's some sort of a stain. It's got an interesting set of legs to it and a bottom, and basically, fundamentally the structure was very good. So I took the piece, and you can see it was loose on the one side there. So I just did a little light disassembly here. It's just a couple of screws holding the top to the base. Pulled those out and got to work beginning to clean it up. There's no maker's marks or anything really significant on the table. I don't really have a good idea of its age or anything else on it. Unfortunately, it's disconnected from its roots, um, but working to bring it back here. Started with an orbital sander and ranging from probably 120 to 220 grit in the different stages as I work to bring it all together and actually have the orbital plugged in. It works a lot better that way. And you can see that what little finish was left on there comes right off. The edges are always a little bit challenging for me. Oftentimes, just folding a piece of sandpaper like that might work to bring off some of the old finish. In those little grooves, it gets a little bit thicker than it does on the top, and it certainly isn't worn away in the same fashion. So working with sandpaper as I am right now with just my finger, shaping to the set of grooves. Sometimes I'll have the sandpaper wrapped around a sponge or an actual sanding sponge too to break it up. And then sometimes I'll use a liquid based uh, varnish remover, paint remover to pick up some of the stuff that's a little more stubborn to bring it all out and end up with a nice finish. And the mystery ring slowly goes away. We've had this table for a while and we've used it. And it was a few months ago we noticed that dark ring appear, and there was no indent. It's not a burn. It doesn't appear that anybody set, perhaps a hot pan on it or anything. So I think something was dirty or had something on the bottom and it penetrated whatever little finish there was left and into the wood and it left that ring. But you can see it sanded out beautifully and revealing the true nature of that wood underneath, um, which will really start to pop shortly when I get to the staining portion. And here I am using some of that previously mentioned chemical stripper to get those grooves to loosen up a little bit, to get some of that finish to come out of there a little bit easier, brushing it on, taking into care not to get too much of it up on top. Even if I do, if it leaves a little bit of a mark, that'll sand right out again and not be a big deal. This product works very nicely to loosen stuff up in just a few minutes. I use something that doesn't create a lot of fumes or problems, so it works out nicely. And here, taking care of some of the structural needs of the piece, adding a little bit of glue, tightening things up a little bit, just making it a little bit more solid for the future. And I did that on all four corners while I don't show it. When I originally stained the top, I used a stain called gunstock, and it came out far more red than I wanted. And I took that process out of the video because the gunstock look, that reddish look that's towards the front here yet, really didn't work very well. So then I took a dark walnut, and that's what I'm applying at this point. And I'm really happy with the final result of this. Um, the wood took the stains extremely well, absorbed it. The edges all came out beautifully. The top came out beautifully. And just look at that wood grain. And here we are now with the reassembled piece. Slightly different quality of light here, shows you what that walnut looks like. Ties in very nicely with the original that I was asked not to change. And we have a beautiful functional table. Stay safe and be healthy.